Jumping into the number 10 set of the best budget gaming headsets of 2024 is the HyperX Cloudstinger 2 Core. Coming in at a price tag of only $29.99. If you want to check out any of the 10 headsets in this video, there's Amazon links below for the US, UK, Canada, and international links. But let's talk about the Stinger 2 Core. Also new studio, so that's pretty cool. Build quality on the Stinger 2 Core is great for under 30 bucks. It's completely made of plastic and not as well put together and premium feeling as the other headsets on the list, but the price reflects that, and overall this still feels pretty durable considering its plastic build quality. Now talking about sound quality for a sub $30 headset, this is actually good here. Now the drivers obviously aren't the most premium on the list, bass is lacking here, and it can't really hit those upper end frequencies, but for what this is and the price, the sound is completely acceptable, especially in game. You can easily tell where enemies or planes are coming from, and if you're on a really tight budget, this is a great headset. But if you do want a headset that's good, not just in game, but also in music, something that adds a little bit more emotion, you might want to choose some of the others on the list. But again, for that sub $30 price point, it's hard to beat it. As for controls, there is a volume wheel on the right side, but that is all. Connectivity is exactly what you'd expect. This has a non-detachable 3.5mm connection. All right, but now comfort, how is it? Well, these are fairly lightweight. They have a nice seal, two things that I really like, and you don't always expect that at this really low price point. Now, the fabric on the earmuffs isn't as soft as it could be, and the top padding could be a bit more plush, but the fitment on my head is comfortable, and at this price point, that's really what I'm looking for, and overall, still impressive with comfort. Now, one of the things that's the saving grace of this, and the reason this is on the list, is because it does enough of the things that you want a headset to do right at a price point that's really affordable, and the last one that they do right is the mic quality. Shockingly good for under 30 bucks. It's very crisp and clear, but don't take my word for it. Take a listen to the mic test.
This is the mic test of the HyperX Cloudstinger 2 Cores. Check. 1, 2, 3.
And that is how it sounds, but with that, let's move on to the number 9 spot, and this is the Logitech G335, coming in at a price tag of $37.99. Also, there will be a back-to-back mic test of all the headsets at the end of the video, so make sure to stick around for that. Now let's talk build quality. For $8 more than the previous headsets, you get quite a bit more in terms of the build quality section, so let's talk about it. It's completely made of plastic, but it's all thick and has nice glossy accents throughout. It's lightweight at 240 grams, which is amazing for long usage. This really cuts down on the overall head fatigue when wearing for long gaming sessions. We all love a lightweight headset. This also feels super well put together without feeling cheap. There's no like creaks and rattles with this headset. It's just really well put together. Not all Logitech headsets are like that. The Logitech G332 SE, which is essentially the same design as this, but made significantly more cheaper, had creaks and rattles, and that headset just wasn't great at all, but this one has really awesome build quality and fit and finish. The cloth adjustable top strap provides nice padding on the top of the head and looks awesome with that pop of orange. Overall, these are solid. However, I do wish they were a little bit more adjustable for head sizes, but for the price, I can't really argue. Now, sound quality here is actually pretty dang clear. Trebles and mids are well balanced, but a tad muddy. You don't get as much upper frequency response or that deep bass as the more expensive headsets on the list. But again, for this $37.99 price tag, we really can't go wrong here. In-game directional sound is great. Footsteps are clear and crisp. You can tell where bombs are dropping and going off, although I definitely like more bass for that emotional side of gaming. Now, for controls and connectivity, there's a volume wheel on the left side, and that's all the controls you get. And then connectivity is a non-detachable 3.5mm connection. Now let's move on to comfort, because this is one of the areas that I really was impressed with. Comfort is actually amazing here. They are light, my ears fit inside of the muffs, and the muffs themselves are extremely soft and plush. They're also light and airy, so you kind of forget you're wearing them. For super long all-night gaming sessions, there is literally no problem with fatigue, and that's something that I really appreciate. You guys know that. Sweating while gaming, again, no problem here. When you take them off your head after a long gaming session, you feel no noticeable fatigue, and that's something that not every headset has. Now, the interesting thing here is, again, for this price point, this has a really exceptional mic. But don't take my word for it, take a listen for yourself.
This is the mic test of the Logitech G335s. Check. 1, 2, 3.
And that is how it sounds, but with that, let's move on to the number 8 spot, and this is the SteelSeries Arctis Prime, coming in at a price tag of $49.99. We bumped it up in price, but we have also bumped it up across the board. Build quality on the Primes is by far the best on the list, and yes, I said that, best on the list. Of all the headsets on the list, this is the single best by far. These literally feel like a $150 headset, and I do mean like exactly the same. If you were to give me this and say this is 150 bucks without using it, just looking at the build quality, I would be like, yeah, of course it's 150 bucks. The top band is completely made of metal. The ear cups are magnetic and removable. The leatherette earmuffs are extremely soft and plush. There is a retractable mic that's a little bit glossy. The swiveling of the ear cups feels smooth and premium. And I could literally just keep going on and on, but this is a masterpiece of build quality for this $50 price point. It's honestly freaking wild. Not just is the build quality good, but it's also extraordinarily durable because of the very high quality materials that they use. Also, the fit and finish is fantastic. No creaks, no rattles. It does not feel cheap whatsoever. All right, but that's all good and great, but how is the sound quality? Well, sound quality on these is definitely tuned more for gaming. Vocals and music aren't as emphasized and can be a bit muddy, but the mids are clear and well balanced, and you do get some more bass than the previous headset. In game, these definitely more come to life. Higher frequencies like bullets flying past you are very crisp, footsteps are easily decipherable, and explosions sound better than the previous headsets, being more full due to that bass. For controls, on the right side is a mic mute button, volume wheel, mini USB, 3.5mm connection, and then your retractable mic. For connectivity, this is wired, but it is detachable, so that's really nice. Again, feels like a more premium headset because of that. And this uses a detachable mini USB to 3.5mm connection, or just a 3.5mm connection, so that's up to you. Now let's talk comfort. The build quality was great, so is the comfort gonna be there? And yes, it's great. I love the SteelSeries top fabric band. It makes me feel like the headset is kind of levitating. The earmuffs are soft and plush, but do not heat up over time. The only note I would say is I do get a little bit more pressure by my temples, but that's really a slight thing. And part of this is probably due to the increased weight because of the higher grade of materials. Now, as far as mic quality, the mic here is again great. It's a bit thin and airy, but no one will have a problem understanding you. Take a listen for yourself.
This is the mic test of the SteelSeries Arctis Primes. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3.
And that is how it sounds, but with that, let's move on to the number 7 spot. And this is the Razer Kaira X, coming in at a price tag of $39.99. This does depend on the colorway, so depending on the colorway, it might change slightly. But the Kaira X's are a great value for this $40 price point, a little bit less than the previous headset, and there's a reason for that. Build quality on the Kaira X's is almost all plastic. Even the adjustable sidebands are plastic. That being said, it's a thicker plastic that does feel durable, and it does cut down on the weight quite a bit, which is nice. This makes it a very comfortable headset in terms of its weight. The earmuffs are really nice and plush, and they offer some really awesome colorways, which is something I really appreciate to kind of match my setup or just add a little bit of flair. But the big point here with the Kaira X's is the sound quality. The Kaira lineup in its entirety from Razer has better sound quality than the majority of Razer headsets. Honestly, way better than I expected for the price point. The high trebles get a little bit muddy and the low frequency response doesn't go super low, but the sound is still extremely impressive for the price point for listening to music, not just gaming. That being said, where these really shine is the gameplay, because you still get that fantastic directional sound, and for gaming on either Xbox, PC, or PlayStation, it's hard to go wrong with these. They are a really, really solid option in terms of sound quality, and that's really the reason that these placed in the place that they have. Yes, the build quality is durable, but it does feel like it's on the cheaper side, but the sound quality is definitely a step up from all the other headsets that have previously been on the list. As for controls, on the back of the left ear cup, there is a mic mute stitch and a volume wheel. For connection, this is wired with a non-detachable 3.5mm connection, which is pretty much expected at this price point. Now, comfort here, like I mentioned, is really, really good. These are super light, and because of this, paired with the really soft foam and fabric earmuffs, this is just a really enjoyable lightweight headset. It's breathable, and really, I have no complaints for long-term gameplay. Now for the mic. This is where things like continue to get weird. for some reason, it's easier to get a really good mic on a very budget headset than more expensive ones, especially wireless ones, which obviously makes sense, but still, it always just is so funny. The mic quality on the Kaira X's is really quite phenomenal. But don't take my word for it, take a listen for yourself.
This is the mic test for the Razer Kaira X's. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3.
And that is how it sounds. But with that, let's move on to the number 6 spot, and this is the HyperX CloudX, coming in at a price tag of $49.99. Now, build quality on these isn't even close to the Arctis Primes, but they still feel solid and have metal for the adjustable bands. They are generic HyperX in terms of the design, so it has a classic leatherette top band stamped with the glossy HyperX logo, more HyperX logos on the ear cups, with a small braided cable going from the ear cups to the band itself. Overall, it's very, very generic looking, honestly, especially at this point in time, but it's still well put together and durable. But if that's really not an important factor then these might be great. Now for sound quality. This is where the sound quality really starts getting great for the budget segment. Bass response is much better, creating a much fuller, richer sound. Everything here is well balanced. Mids are great, trebles are slightly muddy, but overall crisp and sound good. In-game directional sound is great. There's lots of detail in the upper frequencies, and again, that added depth to the additional bass is really quite nice, especially in like war games like Battlefield 1, things like that with explosions going off. You really get the emotional side of the gameplay, especially when like music comes on. They always do that at the end of the map in Battlefield, and that really, like on a headset like this, adds a lot to the gameplay experience. Now, for controls, there's no controls on a headset itself, but you do get a mic mute switch and a volume wheel on the cable. And as you can expect with those controls being on the cable, this is a non-detachable 3.5mm connection. Now, comfort here is pretty good. The seal is good, but not perfect, with a small gap at the bottom of my ears, and the leatherette padding is soft, but on the firmer side in terms of padding. It's definitely not horrible, but depending on your head size, you might have that little gap, which for me bothers the heck out of me. So it obviously really depends, and if you have a rounder head, it might not be an issue as much. Now, mic quality here is very crisp and clear when compared to the Razer Kairas. It's a little bit muddier, but not that big of a deal. Take a listen to the mic test for yourself.
This is the mic test for the HyperX CloudX's. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3.
And that is how it sounds, but let's move on to the number 5 spot, which is the Corsair HS65. This is pretty consistently on sale for around $50, so check the links below for really current pricing. But the build quality on the HS65s is significantly better than one would expect. The connection points from the band to the muffs is all metal and feels very expensive. The leather earmuffs with fabric inside and the top leather band feels very expensive and plush. And the overall design elements, which are Corsair's new design elements for their headsets, looks very clean and expensive overall. You can tell I'm a big fan of this new direction. I think they're knocking it out of the park. Now, sound quality in the HS65s is balanced with deeper bass response with a bright sound profile overall, being nice and crisp and clear. Games sound great, directional sound is awesome, and music also sounds good. This doesn't have the greatest low frequency response ever, but for the price, it's very, very good, and I'm overall very impressed with the new HS65s. For controls on the back left ear, there is a volume wheel, and then to mute the mic, you just push it into the upright position. For connectivity, this uses a non-detachable 3.5mm cable and also comes with a 3.5mm to USB adapter. Comfort on the HS65s is definitely more firm. The earmuffs, while they are nice leather with fabric interior, the foam is a little bit less plush here, but is still very supportive and fully cups my skull being over the ear. However, if you're a glasses wearer and don't wear contacts like me, which I do about 95% of the time now, glasses can be uncomfortable on this headset. Now, the mic quality. On the HS65s, the mic here is exceptional. Like, it's truly S-tier quality. But don't take my word for it though, take a listen to the mic test.
This is the mic test of the Corsair HS65 surrounds. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3.
And that is how it sounds, but with that, let's move on to the number 4 spot, which is the HyperX Cloud Stinger 2 Wireless. Coming in at a price tag of $69.99, this is a great price for a really good wireless headset. Build quality as far as design is very similar to the wired version in the number 10 spot. However, the plastics used here feel much more premium and the connections feel much more solid. And instead of the fabric earmuffs and padding, you get leather here. Overall, this is nothing special comparatively to the others on the list, but it feels fine. It's durable and is gonna last, but it's also not special like the Steel series, so it's kind of just like a good build quality, which honestly is like all of HyperX's build quality most of the time. Sound quality on the Stinger 2s is tuned great for gaming. It has great bass response and full mids. The trebles are a tad overboosted, but for the most part, this is very well balanced. Explosions sound more realistic, footsteps are easy to pinpoint, and overall you get a much fuller sound. Now for connectivity, obviously this is where this shines. This is wireless with a 2.4 gigahertz USB dongle, and with that wireless connectivity you can get around 20 hours of battery life, and while that might not sound amazing, this is actually still pretty dang good for the price point and everything else this gives you. Now comfort here is great. You have a nice seal around the ears, plush padding, and since this is made entirely of plastic, long gaming sessions are no problem here due to that weight. Overall, no complaints. Now for mic quality, while it's gonna seem like a downgrade from the previous budget headsets, this one, while more expensive, is a wireless headset, so it does tend to struggle more with mic quality. It's definitely not the best on the list, but I don't think anyone will have problems understanding you if you're mainly using this for Discord. But don't take my word for it, take a listen to the mic test.
This is the mic test of the HyperX Cloud Stinger 2 Wireless. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3.
And that is how it sounds, but with that, let's move on to the number 3 spot. This is a fantastic budget headset. This is the Logitech G435 Lightspeed, coming in at a price tag of $49.99. For the build quality, this is made completely of plastic, but it still feels nice and durable and has great colorways. It is extraordinarily lightweight at 165 grams, which is amazing for long usage. Even with this really lightweight design, the headset feels super well put together without feeling cheap. The earmuffs also adjust in this really smooth, satisfying way. Logitech did a freaking fantastic job here. Even though this is not even close to the best headset that I have, not even close, as I have headsets that cost multiple times what this does, this is still one of my favorite headsets to use just because it is so unbelievably comfortable, because it is so lightweight. Think about the difference when those lightweight gaming mice came out and you went from heavy mice and then to a lightweight mouse, and it's hard to go back. While it doesn't give you as much of a competitive advantage in game, just the use case scenario on a daily basis is really enjoyable with this ultralight headset. All right, but let's talk sound quality. You get a bump up in bass than the previous headset on the list. The sound is much more full and emotional, especially when you're in game with like background music going, as well as explosions. And not just that, but the directional sound is also great. The trebles and mids are very slightly muddy, but everything is well balanced. I honestly overall love gaming with these. Definitely my favorite wireless headset under 50 bucks. Absolutely no questions about that. Now for controls, on the left side is the power button, volume up and down, a mic mute button, and a USB-C for charging. For connectivity, this uses a 2.4 gigahertz USB dongle or Bluetooth, which is nice because you can hook these up to your phone and use them basically as just like a Bluetooth headset, as well as a gaming headset, which is great. Now, one of the interesting things, the dongle's range is unbelievably good. And obviously we expect that because this is Logitech and Logitech knows how to do wireless connectivity. I was a good 50 feet away through multiple walls and floors and still no problem with the connection. Absolutely solid. Pretty wild. Now, as for the battery life, I got around 24 hours of usage, which is honestly impressive based on the price point, sound quality, the design, the lightness. Like it's honestly way too good of a price. This sometimes I think goes on sales even less than around that $50 price point. So it is a really extraordinarily good headset. Now, comfort here, I've already talked about it. It's absolutely amazing. They're super light. Ears fit inside of the muffs. The earmuffs themselves feel really nice. They're also so light and airy and honestly just a perfect combination for comfort. Super long gaming sessions, literally no problem at all. When you take them off your head, you barely feel anything come off your head. It's really that good. Like the lightness is something that not enough headset manufacturers are doing. They need to start getting ultralight headsets as a space itself. Now, the Achilles heel of the Logitech G435 Lightspeed is the mic. This doesn't have a boom arm, and because of that, it still has a mic, but it's like back here by your ear, and it's trash. It sucks. It's really bad. But don't take my word for it. Take a listen to the mic test.
This is the mic test of the Logitech G435s. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3.
And that is how it sounds, but with that, let's move on to the number 2 spot. This is the Razer BlackShark V2 X, coming in at a price tag of $49.99. Pretty much no one does budget headsets better than Razer, at least in 2024. Build quality here is really good for the price. There is soft faux leather on the top band and really clean, nice green accents around the headset while it's mostly blacked out. Now, due to the helicopter design, there are these thinner metal adjustable bands which look great on all of my different Razer headsets that do have this adjustable thinner metal helicopter style bands. They've still held up. I've heard in the past people have said that they'll start failing, so I guess that might be something to consider, but for me, mine have not had any problems with adjustability and keeping adjustability when on your head. Now, the sound quality here is honestly quite impressive. Trebles here are very clear, mids are good, slightly muddy, but I do mean slightly. The bass here is also full, not boomy, and overall sounds great for both music and gaming. Listening to music on these is awesome. Playing games on these is also great. It's easy to figure out where footsteps are coming from. Music sounds rich and full, and that's really why this is in the number 2 spot, because it just has enough of really each point that make this a cohesive headset that feels anything but budget. Now, as for controls, there is a nice volume wheel that has a good resistance and also slight tactile bumps, and I do mean slight because they're very slight. Then a pop in, pop out button for the mic mute. For connectivity, this uses a non-detachable vibrant green cable. I have the USB version, but you can also get this with a 3.5mm audio jack for consoles. Comfort here is great. It's lightweight, so long gaming marathons will not result in fatigue. They don't press too tightly, they're not too loose. It's really right there in between. That's kind of the perfect pressure against the head. The earmuffs here are pleather on the outside and then a fabric on the inside, which feels great against your ears, and it allows for not sweat buildup or an overly uncomfortable amount of heat on your ears, so that's a nice design. There's a thicker foam inside the earmuffs, and for most head types, this is going to be very, very comfortable. Now, mic quality here is actually not bad compared to most gaming headsets, but it's still nothing impressive. Take a listen to the BlackShark V2 X's.
This is the mic test of the Razer BlackShark V2 X's. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3.
And that is how it sounds, but with that, let's move on to the number 1 best budget gaming headset of 2024. This is the Razer Barracuda X, coming in at a price tag of $79.99. You really can't beat Razer in terms of best budget headsets. This one is awesome. Build quality here is a good middle ground between durability, understated styling, and a well put together headset. It has metal bands, a plush leather headband, and soft breathable fabric earmuffs. As well, this has a detachable mic that always stays exactly where you want it, and I really appreciate this for a quality of life thing. Sound quality here is by far the best on the list and is surprisingly good. A very well balanced sound profile with great low frequency response. Bass is punchy and deep without being overbearing and muddy. The mids and trebles were clean, not muffled or overly sharp. This is an incredibly enjoyable experience to listen to music with and is so epic for playing games. Obviously, you're still getting fantastic directional sound. And overall, if sound quality is really the number 1 most important thing to you, then this headset is the obvious choice. For controls, on the left side, there is a mic mute button, a volume wheel, and an on and off button that doubles as your mode selection button. You then have a 3.5mm audio jack and a USB-C for charging. You can also download the Razer Audio app on your phone for changing EQ settings and seeing battery life, which is pretty cool. That's a feature that none of the other headsets really have. Now, for connectivity, this is wireless with Bluetooth, a 2.4 GHz USB dongle that is a Type-C dongle, or you can use this wire with a 3.5mm connection. The headset itself can also switch between Bluetooth and 2.4 GHz USB dongle sources automatically, which is pretty cool. And after testing, this gets a really great battery life of 60 hours. That's impressive. Now let's talk about comfort. Well, it's great here. They don't press too tightly against my head. The fabric earmuffs keep it cool during long, hot gaming sessions. They aren't too heavy, and the top band is super plush. Overall, this is a very comfortable headset to wear for 3+ hour long gaming sessions without any fatigue. And this was tested with both contacts and my glasses, so it's even good with glasses wears. And for the mic test, the mic is nothing special. It's a wireless headset, so it's gonna struggle a little bit more, but on Discord, my friends had no problem understanding me, so that's good, but don't take my word for it. Take a listen to the mic test.
This is the mic test of the Razer Barracuda X's. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3.
And that is how it sounds. But again, if you want to check out any of the 10 headsets, there's Amazon links below for the US, UK, Canada, and international links. And if you enjoy this video and want to see other videos, we do a whole ton of these tiered videos. Maybe you're searching for a mouse. Here's our video on some of the best budget mouses that you can buy, or is it mices or mice? Yeah, this is a consumer tech review, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
This is the mic test of the HyperX Cloud Stinger 2 cores. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3. This is the mic test of the Logitech G335s. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3. This is the mic test of the SteelSeries Arctis Primes. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3. This is the mic test for the Razer Kaira X's. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3. This is the mic test for the HyperX CloudX's. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3. This is the mic test of the Corsair HS65 surrounds. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3. This is the mic test of the HyperX Cloud Stinger 2 wireless. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3. This is the mic test of the Logitech G435s. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3. This is the mic test of the Razer BlackShark V2 X's. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3. This is the mic test of the Razer Barracuda X's. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3.